Hello and welcome to the Hardison Cochran podcast. On today's episode, Ben Cochran will be answering a question about North Carolina workers' compensation. And today's question is, what is a Medicare set-aside in North Carolina workers' compensation? And now, Ben Cochran.
Many folks who are receiving workers' compensation benefits may also be entitled to benefits from Social Security disability. If you have an open workers' compensation claim and you also have an application for Social Security disability, then you will have to take Medicare's interest into consideration prior to resolution of your case. Now, these are two different jurisdictions legally. Workers' compensation is governed or overseen by the North Carolina Industrial Commission. Social Security disability benefits are overseen by the Social Security Administration. Based upon when you applied and when you may reasonably receive Medicare benefits will determine whether or not a Medicare set-aside has to be performed and computed and submitted to the Center for Medicare Services for approval. However, if you do have an application for Social Security disability benefits and you are contemplating resolving your workers' compensation claim, then based upon those circumstances, some type of allocation may be required to protect Medicare's interest. Once you receive Social Security disability, depending on your date of disability determines when you become eligible for Medicare. In North Carolina, when you are resolving a workers' compensation claim, these are interests that are considered by the attorneys, whether they be for the claimant, which is the injured employee, or the insurance company's attorney as well. And so this is a complicated scenario as to when a Medicare set-aside may be indicated and when it may have to be submitted to the Center for Medicare Services for approval. If you aren't represented, then you're going to want to address these types of questions to the insurance adjuster and the defense attorney to make sure that they have considered Medicare's interest for both parties involved.
Listening to this podcast does not create an attorney-client relationship between you and Hardison Cochran attorneys at law. Hardison Cochran does not accept new clients without first obtaining a signed agreement. The information shared in this podcast is for information purposes and should not be intended or taken as legal advice as to yours or anyone else's legal matter. If you have a legal matter, contact an attorney about your specific set of circumstances.